Hello and welcome. My name is DW and this is my little slice of the internet I like to call Dub's Beauty Diary. Today we are in my car and we're at a different angle because your girl got a car mount for her phone. So we can do better videos in the car and it's not precariously placed on my steering wheel. Anyway, today we are doing a ranking of all of the palettes that I used in October. I used 23 palettes in October and I don't have any of them with me, so I will be posting a photo up here of the palettes. But let's start with number 23. That is Copacetic, The Companion. This was in collaboration with M. Jones 5018. It was on my chopping block, and since it is in last place, I did end up decluttering this. I only used 3 shades, the mint 3 in the middle, and like I like the concept of the palette. I like Copacetic as a brand, but these shades, like some of them were flaky and I don't like flakies, and some of them were toppers and there was no mattes, and I decluttered it, sent it to a friend. It is what it is. Number 22, the Colourpop Wannabe palette. This was also in the chopping block. I ended up combining this and So Fly together, another Colourpop palette. If you haven't seen my chopping block video, I will post that, or I will link that in the description below. But I ended up decluttering this in a sense. I combined them together to make one palette. It's a nice palette. I love bees, so I'm in it for the packaging, but it's very yellow gold and pretty basic. Number 21, the Glamlight Kiss palette, also on the chopping block. Reoccurring theme. I did my chopping block series last month, and so a lot of these were on there. But I really love Kiss, one of my favorite bands. I needed the entire collection when I heard about this palette from Glamlight, and the tones in the palette are just too deep for my preferences, so I did end up decluttering this, and it is in my like decor now, so it's not in my eyeshadow palette collection any longer. Number 20, the Nomad Tokyo palette. This is my level 5 level up palette currently. I don't love it, obviously, but still trucking along. The shimmers are okay, like they're very dry and crusty. It's an older palette. The mattes are nice, they blend out fine. It's more of a companion palette than a standalone. Number 19, the Natasha Denona Love palette. This was one of my first, I want to say, Natasha Denona palettes. I do not like the cream to powder formula. I do love a red and purple color combo. Anyway, I ended up taking some of this and mixing it with Zendo to have a palette more to my liking. So this was essentially decluttered, I guess, kind of. Yeah. Number 18 is the Unearthly Devour palette. This was in my deck of panning, and I had it in for 3 looks because after one look I did with Caitlin House's Throwback Thursday collab on Instagram, I didn't love it and I had never used it before, so I wanted to get a serious thoughts on it, so I did like No Pan Left Behind, did 3 looks with it. That video should be coming soon. Yeah, I still didn't love it. I love the greens in it, I love the 3 iridescent shadows, but the maroons and the purples, and if I'm not going to use like half the palette, what's the point, right? So spoiler alert, I decluttered Devour. Number 17, the J-Star Blood Sugar palette. This is my palette for Do Japan to My Battleship with Andy. I like it, kind of. I don't love it. There's a few shades in there that I really like the purple, magenta, fuchsia, whatever kind of shade on the second row on the end, and some of the deeper mattes on the bottom I love for eyeliners, but still not a favorite palette by any stretch. 16, this is the other Colourpop one that I was talking about, so Fly. This one has a really nice iridescent shade, and I like the tones much more. They're more cooler, and it has a pop of teal, and I love a pop of teal. Though, spoiler, I did not keep the teal shade when I combined the palettes. I didn't need it. Then we have, let's see, 15. Tiny Marvels by Sydney Grace. This was in collaboration with Mel Thompson, who unfortunately passed away a couple years ago now, but I had this palette and I never used it, so this was on the chopping block, and it's a beautiful palette, but nah. I saw that one of my friends had been wanting this one, so I just passed it on to her because I wanted to keep it to remember Mel, but I can just watch her old videos. I don't need to keep a palette that's not going to get used. That's not a good way of remembering her, in my opinion. Number 14 was the Masquerade Mini by Juvia's Place. Now this one, Masquerade Mini, I think, one second, sorry about that, I always get the Magic and the Masquerade mixed up. So the Masquerade Mini, I like this palette. I wish I could depot it, but the pans are not magnetic, so I since half of it is neutral, I did end up passing this along to my friend. Then we have the Sweet Peach by Too Faced. This is like a mediocre palette. Like, it's a nice palette to have in your arsenal, but it's pretty basic. So like, it's just in the middle. Like, I don't need it. I can't live without, or I can live without it. I don't really need it, but I'm glad I have it. I don't know. Possible declutter in the future, I guess, but not right now. Number 12 was Poppy Storm by Titanium Foxes. Granted, I only used 2 shades in this, but it's very deep and the shimmers creased on me. So we'll see how, actually I used 4 shades in this, but anyway, that's besides the point. We'll see how I get along with this palette in the future. And number 11, Blend Bunny Surge. This was also on the chopping block. I like the idea of this palette. I don't know. I don't want to make monochromatic looks with a big palette, so I just have a hard time coming up with looks with it. But it's still in my collection, and I will be testing it out more to see if I want to keep it or not. Now we're in the top 10. So number 10 was Gloomy Gardens by Devour Cosmetics. I was mentioning the Copacetic collab with M. Jones 5018, and Devour is actually her brand. So yeah, Gloomy Gardens. The reason this is number 10, I really like the formulation of this palette, and I like the tones, and I like the shimmers, but it has more mattes than shimmers, and I'm not a huge fan of that. But I have liked every look that I've done with it. It's just there, I guess. Number 9, the Mini Stoned Vibes palette by Urban Decay. This is a great little palette. It had a lid setting shade in it. It has a nice eyebrow shade in it for me. That's what I'm currently using in my eyebrows. And the other matte is like a dusty pink. And then the shimmers are just like the shimmers in the original Stone Vibes palette, and you guys know that's my favorite palette. Yeah, I like this one. It's very versatile in a sense where you can, all of the shimmer shades are different enough. Number 8, Beauty Bay New Mood. This palette is so nice. I love the shimmers. If I had enough patience, I would have depotted the shimmers. The mattes blend out fine, good selection of shades. I like this palette a lot, but I don't need it. So I ended up giving it to one of my clients and she really appreciated it. So even though it was number 8 on my rankings, I still don't have it in my collection any longer. Number 7 was the Juvia's Place. My alarm went off. The Juvia's Place Magic Mini is number 7. That is the palette I'm doing my panel project with Emma in. I really like that palette. I like almost all the shimmers except for one. It has a lid setting shade. It has some versatile mattes. It's a good palette and it still performs, so I'm not complaining there. Number 6 is the new Rocha palette from Natasha Denona. This is what love should have been. I like this palette a lot, actually. The shimmers are great. I wish there was more shimmers. I wonder if I should pull out some mattes and put some of the shimmers from the Love palette in it. That's another video topic. Anyway, the only shade I didn't like was the purple matte on the top row. It was patchy, but I'll try it again and maybe it'll work. But the color story is great. I love purples, pinks. It's very feminine. The shimmers are super sparkly. Yeah, I like that palette a lot. I'm glad that I got the chance to try that thanks to Natasha Denona and Buzz Agent. Yeah, if you haven't seen my first impressions, I will have that one linked down below as well. Number 5 was Ghost Town USA by Nomad. I did a big community collab for Halloween with using this palette. Melissa started that. I will also have that playlist linked down below. A lot of stuff happened in October, but yeah, I really was surprised by that palette because I thought it was like, so I don't like the Tokyo palette and I didn't like the Berlin palette that I had like ages ago. So I thought like Nomad, I don't know, but the color story just kept speaking to me and then I accidentally ordered it. That's also another story if you want to hear it. Leave a comment and I can do like a little get ready with me story time on it. It's kind of funny. Anyway, the shimmers were impeccable. Like I was blown away. My eyes are watering because I'm thinking about how amazing that palette was and I can't wait to play with it again. It was so pretty. Number 4 is the Titanium Fox's other Poppy palette, Poppy Quiet. This palette is stunning. I love every look that I've gotten from it. I wish, you know, this is a contender for one of my all-time favorite palettes, except for it creases on me. I did get a new eye primer and I can't wait to try it with this palette in hopes that it doesn't crease. But Poppy Cry is like the shade to end all shades. It is so shifty and sparkly and glowy and oh, it's so metallic. It's just stunning. I absolutely love it. So that was number 4. Number 3, we're in the top 3. Okay. Number 3 is the ABH Norvina. Like, you guys, I love this palette. Like, I just do. I just love it. It's so basic and so OG and so beautiful, and the shimmers are just so metallic and like impactful, and the mattes just are so dusty and blend out so effortlessly. It's just a really good palette. Got a little napping unicorn back here. Let's see. So number 2 was also one of my favorites, the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette. Did I not try Mercury Retrograde last month? I must have tried it in September. Anyway, that's besides the point. Rose Quartz, lovely, cool toned, mauve-y, sparkly. I love this palette. I did a collab with Amy, Beauty and Beyond, here, where we like ranked our shades. So like favorite to least favorite, or least favorite to favorite, or whatever. And I can also have that video linked down below. Just shameless plugs over and over and over again here. And my number 1 palette, no one is surprised here. Can you guess it down below? I bet you can. It is Stone Vibes by Urban Decay. This is the palette. This is, if I could only keep one palette in my collection, it would be this one. If I could only keep one. I don't want to do that, but if I had to, like this, it would be this. I friggin' love this palette. It is so, like, it is old, right? And the shimmers are still so friggin' sparkly. I have so many pans in it now. I think I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 pans in it. Yeah, 5. And I am gunning for a couple more through my Deck of Panning series. So yeah. Do you like these types of videos, these rankings of like what I used in the month, or is it, are they kind of like overdone or whatever? I find it quite interesting, and November is going to be even more interesting because I am in the process of using a palette every day that I've never used before. I have Pat McGrath's Utopian Dreams on today. Yeah, I bought this over a year ago and I had never used it. I did it for a collab for on Instagram with Mary with the Long Hair. Yeah, I'm just rambling now because I just love filming. I love talking to you guys. I love this community that we've created. I love the little makeup sphere of YouTube. I just love it. I love my friends. I love what this has brought to me, my best friend Andy, everyone else that I talk to on a regular, my birthday twin Eden. Like, if I did not have this beauty space, I would have never found these people. I might have like watched their videos. Well, Eden doesn't even do videos, so I would have never found her. But I would have just watched like Andy's video and like just lurked in the shadows. But we're actually like genuinely best friends. Like, I love that, and I love that. So with that being said, we will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.